Hello everybody and welcome back to Nathan Adams Cars. Today I had the fantastic opportunity of going to Ted Britt Chevrolet in the Northern Virginia, DC metro area. I met Dre, the salesperson who spent a lot of time with me showing me the 2019 Camaro ZL1. He did a great job and was very knowledgeable, so anybody looking for a car like that, any Chevrolet products, I really recommend going to that dealer. As for Dre, he'll give you a good time, show you a fun car, and help you out throughout the process. Now, this is going to be a review of the 2019, which is a 6th generation Camaro after it had the mid-cycle refresh and the restyling. So without further ado, please follow along. Let's get started on the review. Alright, here it is. This is a 2019 Chevy Camaro ZL1. This particular Camaro has those smoked out taillights. They come in higher trims, more performance oriented trim levels as well. If you're looking at a 6th gen Camaro, I think it came out in 2014 and it had these taillights as the original design back there. Then it came out within 2019, those other taillights there. And like I said, the higher performance trim models are going to have taillights like these that are smoked out and really give it a very nice look. This is excellent lighting to show these taillights. They look very nice with that smoked out look, but still those red halo kind of design. I really like it. It also has these 20-inch wheels all around. 285s in the front. Those tires are very wide, very capable. And they're summer tires, which is crazy because I was able to drive this car in the wintertime. And we'll get back to that later. But design is very subjective. I love the way this car looks. And if you're looking for a 2019, you can start out with this $26,000 4-cylinder base model. And it still looks really nice in my opinion. Now going under the hood of the ZL1 hood there, you're going to see this LT4 engine. That's just the the most updated supercharged 6.2 V8 engine, which is LS based, but it's a supercharged version. And it produces 650 foot-pounds of torque and 650 horsepower. And all of that sound goes to these quad exhaust out back. Now back up to the engine up front. The LT1 engine is the same sized V8 6.2 liter, but it produces 455 horsepower. That can be found in the C7 Corvette and the Camaro SS, but it's not supercharged and it doesn't produce 650 horsepower like this one does. And all that power is mated to this 10-speed automatic that was jointly produced by Ford and Chevrolet. And during the review, we'll talk about this, but it's just an excellent transmission. Now up front you have these 15-inch rotors. They're actually more than that. It's crazy. 6-piston Brembo brakes up front, big wide grippy tires, and just really very sporty and capable car. It's just incredible. I really love it. It does come with this ZL1 hood, those badges all over the place, and out back here you'll see again the looks of it. This color is called Crush. It's kind of a unique color. I really like it for looking at, but when it comes to actually having it every day, I don't know if I could live with it. That gray color is a little more subdued. It does have a trunk, but the opening is kind of slim, as Dre's showing me there. But it does have a lot of space once you get inside. And those seats do fold down. It's just one complete piece that'll fold down, so nobody can sit back there when you're doing it. But that's fine. Now, both the hood and the trunk are open. And just kind of going around to show you the car. I love these LED strips around the lights and the daytime running lights on the bottom. Now moving on into the interior, you'll see that it does have a back seat, which can fit exactly one American flag. Very appropriate for this type of car. I don't know if I could fit back there, but it doesn't slide forward unless you actually manually do it, which takes a while. Now getting behind the driver's seat, you'll notice the screen and the gauge cluster, which is customizable and has a lot of options. It looks really nice, gives this car a very modern look, which is very much appreciated by me. I mean, this car has a range, and the price range is crazy. I feel like it goes from 26 to like 3 times the price. It goes up to $75,000 or somewhere around there. So it's crazy, but I mean, they make up for it with these really nice interior materials, suede everywhere with the red stitching. And that touchscreen there, we'll go into more details later, is very responsive and very capable. This car also has the heated and ventilated seats. It has buttons for everything and little tiny LED lights inside the buttons. Just the attention to detail is great. And those Recaro seats are 8-way powered for the driver and 6-way for the passenger. They're bucket seats, very comfortable. And then there's a 28 different lights you can do for these ambient interior lightings. Now moving to more of the technology, this car has the heads-up display, which can show you different displays up there for the heads-up display. And the way that you change those is a little button on the side with the HUD and info options. You can toggle through and see if you want to look at the radio, for example, or if you want to look at your tachometer, which is a nice thing to be able to choose, your tachometer and speed. I like that. Moving forward, though, we'll see the Hvac controls, and you can actually change the temperature with these dials. It took me a while to figure that out with the help from Dre, the salesperson there. You can open and close them with those center dials as well. And on the steering wheel, you do see this heated steering wheel button. What's really cool, as I mentioned, those little LED lights in every single button. It's a nice touch because it shows your attention to detail and also just like a nicer look. You can tell when it's on. And from the buttons on the right, you're able to change that center display I was telling you about before. It's kind of cool because it has these different options like you might see on the main display, the touchscreen on the center console or on the dash, right? But it shows you your navigation, turn-by-turn directions, and all these different things as well. The cool thing is you get to change it from that gauges view on the top to this technology view where it has those little gauges in the corners and like a tachometer in the middle with your compass. It's a nice look, like a center gauge for one thing there. And here's me changing the modes into track, sport, touring, snow and ice. It's really nice that it has all these different options, especially considering it's a rear-wheel drive car with 650 horsepower, so you get to tailor it to what kind of conditions you are in. Although I don't know how you're going to drive in snow and ice, and I didn't use that mode at all in this case. Fortunately, there was not any snow on the roads. It was just salt and some water. But moving on, you see the touchscreen there. The resolution is nice. It's very easy to move side to side like a touchscreen phone, you know, like a smartphone. And the buttons, or the screen itself, I guess, is very responsive to touch. It's very quick. There is no lagging at all. You just cycle through all the pages. You have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, if I haven't mentioned that already. It's just nice to get a really nice car with modern features, such as this camera on the rear. This is a rear view mirror camera. What does that mean? I didn't know, but this is what it means. For your rear view mirror, you have a camera that's looking behind you, and it's really impressive. That's what we see behind us. Yeah. As you can see, you can change zooming in and also just kind of the height adjustment, how high up and down it goes. What's cool about this camera is that, you know, there's that Honda Watch system, which is cool to see your blind spots. But this, because people complain always about that rear visibility in this car, now that it has this feature, you can see a much wider rear view with this camera, and it really helps out. There's no room for our arms.
It's kind of one of those things where it's like no room for the arms because they want both hands.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. See, that is cool too. Just seeing this.
Exactly. You see how high def it is too.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and the I don't know if it's the frame rate or what, but it's not like lagging at all.
No, it's like direct feed.
Damn, it's already slipping.
Yeah.
Like I'm careful. I'm not even trying to put all the power down. The tires are cold. I feel like I can tell that already.
Yeah, and the car will actually let you know when the tires are cold or when they're warm.
I don't know what to say.
It's that low end torque.
I'm going like probably a quarter throttle, and that's what's happening.
That's what's happening.
Yep. Now listen to how this car sounds when I put it in track mode. All right. This is usually a fun road.
Oh yeah.
I hope you can hear that. I could feel every single part of the road. Like the little bit of water on the right side in the front tire, I could feel that only.
Yeah.
It's so interesting how you can feel every piece.
A lot of feedback.
And the steering, yeah, the feedback is incredible. The steering here, you can really tell. It's great. Oh man. It's unfortunate that there's so much traffic.
Right.
And I'm downshifting here, and it's 2,000 RPM right now. Third gear, because there's a million gears in this car.
Yeah. A million.
Oh man. This 10 speeds feels really nice because you can't feel any shifting. It's smooth, but it's responsive, so it kind of has both. About halfway. I got about halfway into it.
Yeah.
the range of how it, like, it's gonna shift earlier on when you're going smooth like this, right? I'm going like an everyday driving situation. I'm into the throttle a little bit, it'll upshift to try to save fuel and all that and just be smooth. But when you get into it, it knows to hold on until you get to the higher RPM before it shifts. It shifts a lot later.
Yeah.
I don't even know how much capability this car has.
No, dude, it's
so much more than that, right? It's like 5 times what I just did.
Yeah, it goes. I mean,
that's crazy.
It's insane. That's why it's probably one of the best cars for under 70 grand, if that.
Yeah. Yeah, you hear about these cars that are kind of like race cars, like the new Mustang.
Yeah.
The GT500.
500,
right?
yeah.
It sounds like a race car. It's ridiculous the way that thing sounds. But this is like that. It has that like throaty exhaust sound and everything. Wow. Oh yeah, I want to do the manual mode. So let me see now if I were to use paddle shifters. You can hear the downshifting. Oh shit. Immediate upshifts. Immediate. I mean, I've driven dual clutch cars. I used to have a dual clutch myself, and it's like the same. It's as good. I didn't have a Ferrari or anything, but
right. But
I mean,
clutch is a dual clutch.
A dual clutch is different. This is an automatic.
Yeah.
It has its own benefits. Like fuel economy, I'm sure is better than it would be. Performance, though, is not hindered at all. It's probably a lot better than it would be. Whatever it would have. Alright everybody, this has been a review of the 2019 Chevy Camaro ZL1. There's just a couple things I wanted to add. The first thing is that this review happened in January because this just happens to be the time that I was invited to do it. But this is a very serious performance car with summer tires, and it shouldn't really be driven in the conditions that I drove it in. But I wasn't going to turn down the opportunity, so that's why I drove it, and that's why I was so careful with it. Despite how careful I was being, though, I did recognize how great this car is from the engine to the steering. But the real star is that 10-speed transmission. In the video I mentioned that it was not as good as the dual clutches that I have driven before, but Chevy reports that it actually shifts up, it upshifts faster than the Porsche PDK dual clutch, and that's pretty impressive. Beyond that, I found that it was really impressive when it comes to just keeping the engine at the right RPM range. It's able to shift up and down to be in that perfect part of the power band whenever you need it. Lastly, I wanted to say thank you again to Ted Britt Chevrolet in Sterling, Virginia, and Dre, who was over there to help me out. It was a great experience. I really appreciate it. And I wanted to say thank you again to everybody who's watching this video. If you like it, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.